Hello. So, after a 2-day hiatus, I'm back, and for what is technically day 6 of 52 ways in 14 days. If you've watched day 5, I was by the beach for the day and was setting out with good intentions to get a lot done. I ended up mostly beach hopping and spending some time recuperating and hanging out with my dog. But I ended up going with setting up Voxer. That's effectively the walkie-talkie application is how they refer to it. It's where you can send audio messages via the application to other people using the application. I spent some of the day exploring alternatives, potentially using Skype, which includes a feature exactly the same thing, it just doesn't seem to work at all. So I went with the program that has it implemented, is designed to do it, and we'll see if I end up using it in the future or not. So that's set up, done, ticked. It's off the list of that was the final, I believe it was a system. So I've got that. Now, after that, I ended up just doing a little bit of research into some of the other items on the list and thinking about what I could and couldn't do. And then I took Sunday as a day mostly for myself. I had a bit on with regards to a friend's birthday and things like that. So that was off the cards. And then yesterday, I elected to spend the day developing my product rather than implementing the 52 ways, and I was mostly exploring how to use Python. That's the coding language Python, and it's going to be a big part of my product in the future for its data analysis, easy integration with PHP and web interfaces, and particularly web APIs such as RESTful APIs. So it was important that I sat down and got a bit more familiar with it. And then this morning I've woken up for day 6, ready to go. I've had a quick look over the ways that I have remaining. I still haven't done anything with Upwork, but look, I've tried with Upwork. I was looking at potential candidates that could develop sideline applications for me or take over little bits and pieces and develop them. And realistically, developing the product and implementing these things, it is something that I want to learn myself. So I was a bit reluctant to give them that, and then the Upwork interface just didn't want to play nice with me as well. I wasn't a fan of how it works. I did prefer the freelancer option a bit more. So I think I'm going to stick to that platform, and where I've given that a go, and I've given Fiverr a go. I'm going to count that as going to sound like a bit of a cop-out, but I'm going to count those as my outsourcing options there. Those particular ones. I still have the virtual assistant one to go, but more on that in a second. But for now, I'm taking off Fiverr and I'm taking off Upwork, as in I've given a go, prefer freelancer, gave freelancer a go, paid them some money, got a little something out of it, but not exactly what I wanted. And I will use it again in the future. I've identified a few freelancers that propose a good rate for PHP, Python, web interfacing, WordPress, databasing, SQL. These are all things that I need for the product in the near future. So I'm going to be using them for that, and I'm going to tick them off. Now that brings us to our outsourcing virtual assistant. I believe I mentioned this briefly in day 5's video, but I've been looking at companies that effectively are a bit of a middleman for finding new virtual assistants for certain rates in certain areas. I've found one that has virtual assistants that are email managers, but also can do WordPress blog management and even Python and PHP scripting and upkeep and document control and things like that. So I'm likely going to go with one of those services, but I'm still communicating with them as to exactly what's involved with their rates and things like that, because it looks like you effectively have to hire someone part-time, and I just want to understand the commitments, because if everything falls apart in a couple of weeks or whatever, am I going to be committed to paying for this virtual assistant? Is my virtual assistant able to work for other people? My younger brother, he has a company, and I've been telling him about these tools and things like that, and he certainly has potential where a virtual assistant could help them out greatly. So I might look at doing a 50-50 split, where 10 hours a week this part-time virtual assistant assists them and assists me, until both of us build up a category of work that they can be relied on, and then up their hours or get a second. So that's where I'm at with virtual assistants. So that one's not quite ticked off yet, but we'll see how that progresses throughout the next few days. On to what I'm now looking at, as I'm starting with the critical tasks of websites. So as I've mentioned, I have a website. I actually have 2 websites that are related to True Hybrid Energy. There's the main page, and then there's Micro Energy Metrics, which is a resource where I write content for people to get a bit more information about energy and what's going on in that realm. And so when I'm talking about websites, I'm going to be talking primarily about True Hybrid Energy, as I'll consider that the main one that I need to implement the 52 ways on, or in regard to. So the 52 ways for this, I'm just going to read off of the screen over here, are have a great website, must have an opt-in form, install and use Google Tag Manager, use Hotjar, send leads, personalized videos, that's something a little different, and then using the Google Display Network. So that's more of a marketing tool, but it integrates through your website as well. And out of those, I mean, I've already done the Google Tag Manager when I did the systems and technology stuff. You end up doing a couple of things here, there, and everywhere, particularly with a website. The other thing is I have to start looking at the strategy aspect of what I'm doing here, because to have a great website, you have to have a good strategy, and the two need to synergize. There's a fun word for the day. There needs to be some synergy. And so I need to have a clear company vision, because my website needs to be based off of that company vision. I have to have a clear idea of why, how, and what. That particular stuff doesn't quite come from Business Blueprint. That actually comes from start with why, which is a book by Simon Sinek. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not sure that's exactly it, but I'm a big fan of his work, or rather his mantra. I don't know how to say it, but he's got a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of TED Talks. He's got 2 books, and it's very important stuff, and that's a part of the investing in me, as I'm reading through his material, and I'm incorporating that into how I do business. Now, so got to build up the website, got to build up the strategy, got to make sure I have a firm strategy, clear vision, business plan. Got to develop my action plans, get into an accountability group. Now, that's this is one of the ways, again, underneath strategy. That's all about keeping yourself accountable by meeting with people, doing the same or similar thing regularly, and asking each other, where are you at with this? Oh, I'm here, yada yada yada. And I do have a friend, or a good friend, who is in business that is doing some development at the moment, that I'm where we've been keeping each other accountable. These videos are largely for him, and they're for myself. This is my other form of accountability, is just producing these videos, but at the same time, I'm doing them to share with him what I'm doing, also doing them for my aforementioned young brother who's in business. He's going to be starting to implement some of these ways as well, so we'll keep each other accountable as we continue to develop. And then another thing I'm always making sure to do is using my mobile classroom. So I'll be ticking off a few ways today as I've now looked at them and I'm doing these things, but I'll probably recap them tomorrow after I've ticked them off today. I'll make sure I'm comfortable with where I'm at with these, such that I can tick them off. But we'll go from there. But important things I hope to get done today. I'm making sure I have that clear company vision. I want to be sure I know what true hybrid energy is about. Fairly certain I've got it, but I'll clarify it and make sure it's written down and revised. And then I want to start identifying how I can make my website great. And these are going to be, I expect these are going to be as simple as, or starting from as simple as changing the language on my website to reflect my company vision and my why, and then developing tools to engage with potential clients or customers or just the people. And that'll be opt-in forms, lead pages, landing pages, and content that people can use and engage with, and then clear descriptions of identifying what the product is. So I'll leave it at that for today. This has been day 6 after a 2-day hiatus, and it's a bit of a longer form, I believe. 13 minutes so far. So today's been a bit longer form, as I had a bit to cover off and felt I had to justify why I took 2 days off. Anyways, that's it. Enjoy the video, have fun with what you're doing, and I look forward to updating you again tomorrow in day 7. Catch you later.